Hey everyone. Well, today I wanted to talk about the spiritual awakening and how does it look like. Spiritual awakenings can really start with depression, a burnout, or can also start with the big break in family structure, or a divorce, or the death of someone close to us, or also the end of a project, of a life project, like losing a job, or a company, losing a company, or something that really makes us restart, make us need it to get out of our comfort zone. So the spiritual awakening is not an easy thing, an easy process to deal with. It's not. And so if someone tells you otherwise, it's a lie. Okay? So it is really necessary to, first of all, it's when the spiritual awakening begins that you start to questioning whatever is going on in your life. Your job, your friends, your reality, what you want to accomplish, what you didn't accomplish, what do you want for a relationship, or what do you want for to do in your daily life, okay? In your daily routine. Things that you maybe wouldn't question if you didn't have that breakdown. And also it can happen with a disease, with a really heavy disease, or an accident that caused you a disease or something like that, or a lack of mobility. Okay, so I wanted to share a little bit of my spiritual awakening, the first of them all. I went through a stage where I was experienced drugs and nightclubs, sex. I had a job. I did have a job, but my job didn't fulfill me. My job was just one day, and I was just boring. I was just bored by my job. I was living in my grandmother's house, and I was feeling really depressed. Because I looked at my life, and I didn't achieve what I wanted. I didn't have a family. I didn't have someone in my life that I truly looked up to, like truly inspired me to be the same, or to be someone like them. And I was feeling really, I did always had to deal with the insecurities, and I didn't love myself, and I didn't feel worthy of being loved, of being nourished, of being wealthy. I didn't feel worthy. I was just being I was just passing by life, because I tried to kill myself several times, and I couldn't. Something happened that made me not succeed. And then when I started to really ask, why did you keep me alive? What am I doing here? What is that supposed to be? What is that, what life, is that what life is supposed to look like right now? If it is, I don't want to live anymore. Like, it's empty, it doesn't have a meaning, it doesn't have a purpose. So I said, so what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Please show me. And as soon as I asked this question to the universe, it was days later, I received a message from an ex-coworker called Joanna. And she was telling me, hey, how are you, whatever. And then I think I called her. I don't remember if it was one to call or to call me. Anyways, I called her and we started to chat. And she was like, oh, I'm really in depression and stuff like that. I was unemployed at the time. And she was like, oh, I am going to these sessions of Reiki. They are doing me really well with a friend that I have. And she made me a discount so I could do these sessions. And it's really being really good for me, for my depression. I'm feeling better. And I said, what is that? Reiki, what is that? And she was like, oh, this is it's the energy of the universe. And it's like going through the hands and we feel, and then things will you'll feel better. And I said, like, energy? Yeah, it's energy. And I was like, I didn't believe in anything. Like, at the time, I was like, I don't know if God exists, if whatever. I don't. I was really questioning about the existence of God. And so I called myself agnostic because I felt that something was present. I didn't know what. And I already knew some stories of people telling me that went through these dark experiences of being black magic and stuff like that. And I was like, well, if there are people who really tells that she went through this, there are a spiritual world. And I do believe there is a spiritual world, but I don't believe in God, I don't believe in source, whatever. I didn't. So I had to, at that moment, it was like, really, okay, that is strange. And she was like, do you want to try? I don't. That is really weird. Energy through the hands and stuff like that. That's kind of creepy. I don't. So she said, oh, but I'm doing that in Lisbon. Even if you don't want to do it, you want to meet me there so we can have a coffee and talk. And I said, oh, okay, for me that's fine. So that's what I did. I went there, and then Martha, which was the Reiki healer, she, they're a friend, and she started to talk to me and stuff like that. After the Reiki session Joanna did, and she went out of the room where they were having the session, really looking good, really looking calm and peaceful. And I was like, oh, okay. She said, how do you feel? I feel great. I feel, yeah. And then Martha started to convince me to do a Reiki session. I said, I'm unemployed. I don't have a lot of money, so it's really hard for me to spend all that money in a session, and I don't even know, it's my first time and whatever. And she was like, okay, I will do the same discount as I did to Joanna, and you will do it. And I said, okay, I'll give it a try then. So I made the appointment with her, but I was really apprehensive. I didn't know what I was going to experience back then. I was scared. I don't know. I just didn't know how to feel. So I went there, and during the session, she was always opening her mouth like, do this, and I was like, well, are you do you want to sleep? Like, do you sleep well? I said, no, I'm just it's a cleaning of the energy, and it's a way of cleaning. Oh, okay. And I was like, okay, this is strange, but that's okay. So at the end of the session, I was really peaceful, and she started to talk what she saw during the session, and she started to talk about my childhood, where I had this trauma about being raped and stuff like that. She didn't saw that, but she saw that I had this really big trauma, and I told her what I had. So after that, I started to really believe there was something else, and that energy that she was channeling was really new for me. I went to another session. I felt good also, really good. And then Joanna appeared again. Like, Joanna is like sent from heaven, and she was like, hey, do you want to do the level 1 of Reiki? And I was like, well, what will I do the level 1 of Reiki for? I don't want to be a Reiki healer. I don't see myself doing that. And she was like, oh, you don't need to do a Reiki healing to another person. You need to be like Marta. You can also do a self-Reiki, because with the level 1 you can do it. And I said, oh, means I don't have to pay for a session to have Reiki. I can do it to myself whatever I want to. Yes. That sounds good. And I said, okay, I will do it. Then we marked to the day after my birthday, 5 of January of 2013. And that was one of the biggest breaking points of my awakening. Well, I started to feel the energies and stuff like that. But it was just a little bit, compared to what I do feel now. It was just a little bit. But it was, for me, overwhelming, because I didn't felt energies ever. Like, ever. I didn't felt any kind of subtle energies. I didn't. So for me, it was really strange, and it was fascinating at the same time. And I didn't understand, because I always went through life through logic. But it was logic for me. It made sense. If it isn't logic, it doesn't make sense. So I started questioning. So that's what happened. I started questioning, and I said, what does this work? What does this make you have this effect? What is the energy of the universe? And all these questions started to appear in my mind, and I wanted to know more and more and more and more. What if it is Reiki? And then Marta asked me to go to Umbanda Center where she was attending to, and she was developing mediunic gifts. And I went there, and it was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life for me, because I never seen medium incorporate. I never seen entities. I never felt entities. When I saw them, and they were incorporating entities, and I was like, what? I was in shock. I was really scared about it. And I went to this party, which was about St. George, which in Umbanda it's called Ogum. And we could make a request. And then we went to the altar and put ourselves in the knees. And we had to touch with the forehead in a pillow that was close to the altar. So when I went to that pillow, and I felt this energy, but the energy was so strong, like, I mean, really, really strong. And I was like, what the heck? What am I feeling now? I don't understand. What is this? And I wanted to do the request, and I tried to concentrate on the request, but it was really heavy. It was really strong, and I was, okay, I need to do the request. So I did the request. Then when I wanted to get back up, well, I felt so dizzy that someone had to grab me. And I was like, okay, what just happened? And I went back to my place and thinking, watching, and I had too many questions in my mind. So that was the time when I started to know that something, it really did exist beyond what everything was told to me. My grandmother was the one that was always saying that spirits don't exist, and God doesn't exist, and whatever, and that is all a bullshit. Yeah. So I went to a really big preparation to know the truth about my grandmother, because my grandmother always knew there was spirituality, because she was using dark magic. She is a witch, and an evil, really evil one. So my spiritual awakening during the time until I knew what she was doing, I saw, I went through this big depression, trying to fight my own demons, trying to fight my own insecurities, trying to fight my own fears, discovering a whole new world that I thought it was really magical, really magical, and it is really magical. But then I saw really great things, and these really light entities, and these light guides, spirit guides, that had this amazing, nourishing and kind, loving energy. But I was being prepared to face the shadow, and the shadow was my grandmother and all the curses that she was doing to me, to my family. And I was the black sheep, but also the one that had this mission to break the pattern. And believe me, it's not a It's not a good, it's not a easy place to be, because I had to go through a lot of really huge, hard challenges so I could become a stronger version of myself. So, spiritual awakening, it's not about you become more powerful or you become more mystical or more magical. Of course you can become more mystical and magical during the process, and because you, in fact, you are discovering your magic. But one thing that people don't understand is that when they start the spiritual awakening, they do the spiritual awakening with the same attitude that is being brought by the third dimension. And it's like competitiveness. And you want to compete with others because the other got another gift, they unlocked another ability, they unlocked this, unlocked that. Baby, it's the unlock they do, it's all about the work that they do inside. So it doesn't matter if you are competing with the others, doesn't matter if you compete with someone else. It's not about competing with someone else. It's about you going inside and unlocking discovered your own gifts. It's all about that. It's not about anything else. So stop searching outside of you what you can find inside. And that is the biggest challenge, to go inside, to watch your own darkness, to fulfill your own darkness with light. And that's how you will start to become more strong, more confident. You will start to become more aware and more in tune with your spiritual gifts and your own magic. Okay? Thank you very much for watching.